They say your mind is your most powerful tool. But what if I told you it's also your most dangerous weapon? A single thought, just one, can change the course of your life. It can lift you to unimaginable heights or chain you down in silence, fear, and regret. This isn't just philosophy, it's your reality, and the truth is far more gripping than you've ever been told. You become what you think. That's not just a quote, it's a law. Silent, invisible, yet constantly shaping your every step. The question is, who's really in control? You or your thoughts? Let me tell you a quick story. In 1954, a young man named Roger Bannister did the impossible. Scientists had said it couldn't be done. No human could run a mile in under 4 minutes. The body would shut down. The heart would collapse. But Bannister refused to accept those thoughts. Every morning, he visualized crossing that finish line under 4 minutes. He trained his body, yes, but more importantly, he trained his mind, and on May 6th, he ran the mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. What's more shocking, within weeks, others broke the same record, because once the mind believes something is possible, the body follows. This video is about that hidden force, the engine behind your failures and your triumphs, your thoughts. What if the life you're living right now is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts you've allowed to take root in your mind? What if success, love, health, and happiness aren't locked behind fate, chance, or talent, but behind your ability to master your thinking? Today, we dive into the incredible truth behind how your thoughts shape your world. Not just in the abstract, but biologically, psychologically, even spiritually. We'll explore how your brain rewires itself based on the thoughts you repeat, how beliefs, even false ones, create emotional reality, and how you can shift your entire destiny by changing one internal habit, the way you think. You'll learn about how mental rehearsal, what Olympians call visualization, has helped athletes win gold medals before they even step onto the track. You'll uncover how monks can slow their heart rates with focused thought, and how your everyday inner dialogue could be the reason you're stuck or the reason you break free. But it gets deeper. We'll look at how thoughts affect your physical health. Did you know your immune system weakens when you constantly entertain negative thoughts? Or that gratitude can actually lower inflammation in your body? These aren't just ideas. These are measurable, proven phenomena. And no, we're not here to sell you a dream. We're here to wake you up, because there's a battle happening inside your mind every single day, and most people are losing without even knowing it. They think the enemy is time, or luck, or other people, but the real enemy is the silent voice in their own head, whispering doubts, planting fear, and building invisible walls. You'll discover how to take back that control. You'll learn techniques used by Navy SEALs to stay calm under pressure, using nothing but their thoughts. You'll hear about a study where cancer patients practiced guided imagery daily and showed better recovery outcomes. And you'll understand why some of the wealthiest, most successful people in history credit their achievements to one thing: mastering the inner world first. But we'll also expose the darker side, the side no one talks about. How thinking alone, without direction, can become a trap. How people spiral into anxiety, depression, and fear simply by letting negative thoughts loop unchecked. We'll uncover the silent epidemic of overthinking and how to shut it down before it ruins your health, your relationships, and your peace. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about powerful thinking, intentional thinking, thinking that rewrites the script of your life. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to learn how to direct the most powerful force you already possess, your mind. So, Why should you watch till the end? Because by the time this video finishes, you won't just understand the science and psychology behind thought, you'll know how to use it. You'll leave with simple, powerful tools to take control of your thoughts, break negative loops, and start thinking in a way that brings real change. This could be the moment your life begins to shift. A new belief, a new thought, a new you. Welcome to Narrative Society, the place where knowledge meets transformation. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey, because your thoughts are shaping your world, and it's time you started shaping them back. Before we talk about the power of changing your life, we need to talk about the power of your thoughts. It all begins here, long before success, failure, habits, or actions. Everything starts as a thought. Every breakthrough, every collapse, every dream, every fear. It's all born in the mind first. Thoughts are the root, actions are the branches, and your life, that's the fruit. Most people think thoughts are harmless. They believe thinking is just something that happens in the background, random, private, invisible. But what if that's the greatest misunderstanding of all? Thoughts are not passive. They are active. They carry energy. They influence emotions, which guide behavior, which eventually create reality. Imagine a person who constantly thinks, "I'm not good enough." That single sentence doesn't stay in the mind. It seeps into the body. Shoulders droop, eyes lower. They avoid risks, skip opportunities, stay silent when it matters, and in doing so, they create a life where they really don't become good enough. Not because they weren't, but because they thought they weren't. Now compare that to someone who tells themselves, "I can figure this out." They may not have all the answers, but that one thought opens doors. It keeps them trying. It keeps them learning. It builds confidence. Over time, the thought becomes a truth, not because it was real in the beginning, but because it was repeated and believed until it shaped behavior, and behavior shaped outcomes. This isn't just spiritual talk. It's backed by science. Studies in neuroscience show that repeated thoughts create neural pathways in the brain. These pathways become stronger the more they are used. So a thought isn't just a cloud floating by. It's a real, physical pattern in your brain. And the more you think it, the more it becomes your default. That's why people get stuck in cycles, because they keep thinking the same way and expecting different results. You've probably heard the saying, "Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds." You can grow flowers or weeds. It's not a metaphor, it's a warning. What you plant, you will eventually live. Now let's talk about mindset versus skill. This is where most people get it wrong. A lot of us grow up thinking talent is everything. That intelligence, looks, resources, connections, that's what separates winners from losers. But the truth, it's mindset. You can teach skill. You can develop talent. But if the mindset is weak, nothing lasts. Skill without belief is like having a car with no gas. It might look good, but it's going nowhere. Let's take Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. He didn't make his high school varsity team the first time he tried out. Many people would have quit right there, but his mindset told him something else. He thought, "I will get better. I will work harder than anyone." That thought became fuel. It drove his practice, his focus, his obsession. And over time, the skill caught up with the mindset. The world saw greatness, but it started with a belief. Now take Thomas Edison, over 1,000 failed attempts before inventing the light bulb. That's not talent, that's mindset. He once said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That kind of thinking is what transforms failure into discovery. Let's look at Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, abused as a child, told she wasn't fit for television, but she thought differently. She believed she had something worth sharing. She believed in growth. And those thoughts pushed her to build one of the most influential media empires in history. In contrast, how many people do you know who are smart, talented, full of potential, but stuck? Why? Because their mind tells them stories that hold them back. Stories like, "It's too late," "I'm not ready," "People like me don't succeed." These aren't facts, they're just thoughts, but they become reality when left unchecked. The founder of MeCalexi.com once wrote, "Success is not just a skill set, it's a mindset. If you think small, you'll act small. If you think bold, you'll begin to walk toward bigger dreams." That quote captures the entire idea. The way you think determines how you move, how you show up, how you respond to challenges. Here's something else most people don't realize. Thoughts also shape your emotions. Think about it. The same event can make two people feel completely different. Why? Because it's not the event, it's the interpretation. One person gets rejected from a job and thinks, "I'm worthless." They spiral into sadness. Another gets the same rejection and thinks, "This wasn't my door, I'll find a better one." They feel motivated. Same situation, different thoughts, different emotions, different next steps, and eventually different lives. Even in business, mindset leads. Entrepreneurs face failure, competition, slow days, criticism. The ones who win are the ones who keep thinking with clarity and focus. Even when nothing goes right, they tell themselves, "This is part of the process. This is teaching me something. I'll keep going." That's not naive. That's powerful, because those thoughts shape how they act when it matters most. Athletes use this all the time. Serena Williams, one of the most successful tennis players of all time, has spoken about the power of positive mental training, visualization, affirmation, mental repetition. These aren't extras, they're essential, because the body only goes where the mind leads. And here's something that'll surprise you. Even the placebo effect is an example of the mind's power. Patients take sugar pills, but because they believe it's medicine, their symptoms improve. The belief alone triggers healing responses. That's not magic. That's the brain reacting to thought. So what's the takeaway? Your thoughts are not just background noise, they are the blueprint. They tell your body how to feel. They tell your brain how to respond. They tell your future how to unfold. And most people are letting that process run on autopilot. But here's the deeper truth. Your thoughts are your responsibility. You can't control every event in your life, but you can control how you think about it. That's your power. That's your freedom. When you wake up each day and think, "Today I will improve. Today I will grow," you are building a life brick by brick, thought by thought. That's how success begins. Not with money, not with talent, but with one sentence in your mind that says, "I can." And the good news? That sentence is always available to you, even now. Positive thoughts aren't just feel-good ideas. They spark real chemical changes in your brain. When you think positively, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter that makes you feel rewarded and motivated. At the same time, levels of serotonin rise, helping to regulate your mood and bring calm stability. These chemicals not only improve your mood, but also soothe anxiety and help you cope better with stress. As your brain builds these positive pathways, your mind becomes stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to bounce back from challenges. When optimistic thoughts become habit, structural changes occur too. Your brain rewires itself through neuroplasticity, strengthening the networks supporting resilience. Brain scans show that optimism lights up the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain linked to planning, decision-making, and emotional control. Meanwhile, negative thoughts activate the amygdala, the stress center. Over time, positive thinking helps you favor calm and clear thinking brain patterns while reducing shrinkage of your stress response. All this wiring matters in moments of struggle. Dr. Dennis Charney, a neuroscientist shot in the shoulder, credits his recovery to resilience built through positive thinking and mental habits. thetimes.co.uk 4. His experience shows that resilience isn't fixed, it's a skill. Optimism broadens your thinking, improves creativity, and helps you find new paths even under pressure. When you smile, even a fake smile, it signals safety to your brain. It releases endorphins and lowers stress hormones like cortisol. This simple act supports emotional ease and better physical health by easing tension in your body. Thinking positively can even improve your immune response and cardiovascular health. Positive people tend to bounce back from trauma faster, cope better with stress, and enjoy better overall well-being. And gratitude, actively recognizing what you appreciate, activates reward centers in the brain and fosters long-term resilience. Mental visualization is like running a mental rehearsal. Vividly imagining success turns your brain into a training ground. Elite athletes like Michael Phelps and Eliud Kipchoge mentally feel their race before it starts. Even surgeons and police officers practicing mental imagery perform better under pressure with less anxiety. Visual imagination triggers neural pathways similar to real action. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between what's imagined and what's real. That's why your heart may race during a vivid visualization of public speaking or something exciting. To make visualization effective, you must make it vivid. Engage all your senses: sight, sound, touch, emotion, even smell. Picture the finish line, the crowd cheering, feel your heart pulsing, hear your breath. Smell the grass or the track. When it feels real, your brain builds pathways for success and primes your body to perform effortlessly. You also train your reticular activating system, the brain's filter. When you visualize clearly, your RESH starts noticing opportunities related to your goal. You begin seeing what you need in your environment: resources, relationships, clues that serve your vision. That's how a mental picture can turn into real change. Visualization builds confidence too. In your mind's eye, you've already done it, so the real moment feels familiar, not scary. That calm familiarity boosts self-belief right before the actual moment of performance. High-stress contexts like presentations, exams, or interviews become manageable, and the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. This mental workout doesn't replace physical effort, but it enhances it. Studies show that people who combine mental rehearsal with physical training often outperform those who just train physically. Even mental practice alone can improve muscle strength and skill by priming the neural patterns. Famous examples: Jim Carrey once wrote himself a $10 million check for acting services rendered. He carried that check in his wallet years before earning that exact amount. Will Smith has said, "In my mind, I've always been an A-list Hollywood superstar." Those mental blueprints propelled their action. Doctors, too, have used this in therapy. Nurses and surgeons reported less stress, better focus, and improved outcomes after visualizing successful procedures. Whether you're preparing for a speech, a race, a meeting, or a moment that matters, you can use visualization to prime your mind and body for excellence. Every vivid rehearsal strengthens your neural map, boosting confidence, reducing stress, and tuning your brain for success. Notice a thought slip in. I can't handle this. Catch it. Then say to yourself, this is just a thought. You've paused the autopilot. Now insert a new thought. I can learn from this. That simple rerouting starts the shift. You notice negativity, you broke the loop, and you planted a seed for something better. This is the thought switch technique. Psychologists at investors.com report that this shift, catching negative thoughts and swapping them, boosts creativity and problem solving. News Medical adds that replacing vague worry words with clear positive images reduces anxiety immediately. Philosophical Healing.com teaches that this process helps you turn from being a passive victim of your thoughts into an active architect of them. Every negative thought you switch weakens its hold. Every new positive thought you plant grows stronger with each repetition. This is neuroplasticity in motion. You're reshaping your brain by guiding it toward helpful paths. Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, a leading neuroplasticity research psychiatrist, calls this relabeling. You label intrusive thoughts as brain glitches before intentionally shifting to a helpful thought. Each time you do this, you're rewiring your brain. Each time you pause and switch, you earn a deposit in a new neural pathway. It's not easy at first. Old patterns fight back. News Medical notes that the brain resists uncertainty, but persistent replacement, clear, positive thoughts, is what builds new mental circuits. Like practicing a skill, your consistency is what rewires your brain for resilience and clarity. Philosophicalhealing.com shares that surrounding yourself with reminders like notes or affirmations helps overcome initial resistance to change. These cues act as prompts to catch negativity and reroute it. Over time, your internal voice starts guiding itself instead. The Mayo Clinic suggests using positive affirmation and self-talk to counter stress and build new thought habits. When you say, I am capable again and again, it starts to feel true. It becomes your default. Investor.com highlights how affirmations reprogram negative patterns and encourage a success mindset. Ruminating thoughts. Those endless loops of worry are broken when you switch focus intentionally. Lexipol explains that the transition from ruminator to terminator happens when we catch ourselves and shift into problem-solving mode. You're not ignoring negativity, you're choosing where your mental energy goes. Replacing thoughts isn't a one-time fix, it's a habit. Every day, thought by thought, repetition by repetition, you build new mental highways. Every morning, you tell yourself, today I grow. You reinforce that path in your brain. New research reiterated, neurons that fire together, wire together. You create those neural connections through action, thinking, feeling, and repeating. If you want to change how you act tomorrow, you must change how you think today. And that means repetition. Lots of it. Your brain is wired for negativity. It notices threats first, but you can rewire it. Use the thought switch technique. Replace old patterns with new ones. Reinforce them daily, and watch how your mental terrain shifts, thought by thought, day by day. A simple habit can shift your entire mindset. Picture someone writing 3 things they're grateful for every evening. Small things like a warm cup of tea, a moment of laughter, or a peaceful sunset. That daily act quietly retrains the brain to focus on what's good. It's more than a feel-good activity, it's mental conditioning. People who commit to gratitude journaling report feeling calmer, more focused, and more capable of handling life's challenges. Surrounding yourself with positivity works the same way. Some people post encouraging quotes on their mirrors or phones. Others choose uplifting music or limit their time with negative influences. The environment shapes your mindset. Every message, sound, and interaction feeds your thoughts. A positive setting keeps your mind fertile for growth. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about choosing what thoughts get the spotlight. A sticky note that says, "You're doing better than you think," may seem small, but when seen every morning, it becomes a quiet force, a daily nudge in the right direction. And over time, these nudges form a new, internal voice, one that supports instead of sabotages. Demisha, a leadership coach, described her gratitude practice as a lifeline. Each night she writes down moments of peace or progress, even if they're small. "Today I stood up for myself. I found clarity in a hard moment." These notes track growth, not perfection. And slowly her confidence deepened, not because her life got easier, but because her mindset got stronger. Another example is a woman who began her mornings by listing 10 things she was grateful for before looking at her phone. She said this habit rewired how she responded to the world. Instead of starting her day with worry or noise, she began with grounded focus. This simple decision changed how she managed conflict and made decisions. It didn't change what happened around her, but it changed how she showed up. This is how real-world mindset shifts happen. Not in grand moments, but in quiet choices. Over time, these choices create patterns. Patterns create beliefs, and beliefs shape identity. But it's not just mindset alone. Thinking isn't enough. Vision without action is just a dream. A man might visualize success daily, but if he never takes the first step toward it, the vision fades. A student can affirm her intelligence every morning, but if she never opens a book, the belief remains empty. Mindset prepares the mind. Action delivers the results. This is the formula. Mindset plus action equals transformation. Olympic athletes understand this deeply. They visualize their success down to every breath and movement, but they also train every single day. Their thoughts set the stage, but their actions win the race. Business leaders often journal clarity in the morning and execute tough decisions by afternoon. Their routines reflect both intention and motion. That's the power of combining mindset with steps. One executive shared that she recites empowering mantras before meetings. Then she intentionally enters the room with a strong posture and clear plan. Her thoughts prime her, but her preparation completes the picture. She walks in, aligned and ready, not because of mindset alone, but because of mindset in motion. There's a quiet truth here. Belief gives you permission. Action proves it. Every new mindset needs legs to walk. A grateful heart needs to make bold requests. A confident mind needs to apply for the opportunity. A hopeful spirit needs to show up even when afraid. That's where growth lives, in the doing, not just the thinking. A teenager battling insecurity started by writing daily truths. "I am worthy. My voice matters." But she didn't stop there. She joined a debate club. She volunteered to speak. Each action reinforced the belief. Each step rewired her fear into courage, and over time, she became the person she had once only imagined. That's the pattern. Small shifts in thought, consistent effort in action. Together, they transform who we are and what we become. The truth is simple. You can change your life, not by just thinking differently, but by thinking clearly and moving bravely. One step, one word, one habit at a time. Toxic positivity is the silent enemy of emotional growth. It creeps in disguised as encouragement, but ends up erasing what truly needs to be felt. It says, just smile, when what you really need is to cry. It says, look on the bright side when you're lost in real pain. It replaces honesty with denial, and that denial can stunt healing. We live in a world that often rewards the image of constant happiness, but the truth is, real life isn't always positive. Hardships, grief, failure, rejection, they're part of the human experience. When someone's struggling and all they hear is, think happy thoughts, it's not comforting, it's invalidating. It says your pain doesn't belong here. There's a difference between encouragement and erasure, and that difference matters. When someone is anxious, overwhelmed, or sad, the most powerful response isn't to force optimism. It's to sit with them in that space, to say, I see you, I hear you, and I'm here. That kind of presence fosters growth. It gives people room to breathe. It helps them feel safe enough to process what's really going on inside. Toxic positivity teaches people to hide, to keep their fears behind a mask of false cheer. But emotions don't vanish just because we ignore them. They build up. They sink deeper into the subconscious, waiting to explode in unhealthy ways through stress, through anxiety, or even physical illness. Realistic optimism is something entirely different. It acknowledges pain while holding on to hope. It accepts hardship, but refuses to be ruled by it. It's the ability to say, yes, this is hard, but I can take the next step anyway. That balance is where growth lives, where strength is formed. Many therapists have seen firsthand how constant positive pressure causes clients to shut down. People feel ashamed for not being happy enough. They blame themselves for having normal human emotions, but sadness isn't weakness. Fear isn't failure. Anger isn't sin. These are signals. They tell us something important about what we need, about what we value, about what's missing or what needs to change. If we suppress those signals in the name of positivity, we miss out on wisdom. Think of someone grieving a deep loss. They don't need to hear, everything happens for a reason. They need to hear, it's okay to feel broken. That truth gives them space to heal. That honesty allows real comfort to begin. In workspaces, toxic positivity shows up as forced smiles and endless motivation quotes, while burnout festers beneath the surface. It makes people feel like they have to hide their struggles just to keep their jobs. It pushes employees to ignore limits, skip breaks, say yes, when they need to say no, and slowly, the cost adds up. Morale drops, health declines, creativity fades. Realistic optimism in the workplace says, let's be honest about our challenges and believe we can improve. It's not blind cheerfulness, it's hope grounded in truth. In relationships, toxic positivity blocks intimacy. When one partner dismisses the other's fears with, you're overthinking it, or it's not a big deal, it creates emotional distance. The relationship begins to feel like a performance instead of a connection. Realistic optimism, on the other hand, says, I understand why you feel this way, and I believe we can get through it. Even self-help culture has fallen into this trap. Books, videos, and social posts that say, just think positive, without addressing the layers underneath. But transformation isn't about pushing problems away. It's about facing them with courage, compassion, and commitment. Positive thinking works best when it's built on a foundation of truth, when it doesn't pretend but prepares, when it acknowledges storms while also trusting the sun will rise again. Emotional intelligence is the ability to hold space for discomfort and growth at the same time. It's knowing when to say, yes, I'm struggling, and still choosing to take one step forward. Toxic positivity skips the struggle. It jumps straight to the result. It wants the harvest without the digging, but soil has to be broken for seeds to grow. You can't bypass the darkness if you want to find the light. Some people say, well, I'm just trying to stay positive. That's a good impulse, but it's more powerful when it includes the full range of being human, not just the highlights, but the shadows too. True strength isn't in pretending everything's fine. It's in saying, this hurts, and I'm still going to move forward. That's what it means to be resilient. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, they all face setbacks, and the ones who rise again aren't those who avoid pain. They're the ones who learn from it, who face it, who grow stronger because of it. There's a kind of hope that isn't loud or shiny. It's quiet, it's steady. It says, I'll keep going, even if I don't feel okay right now. That's the kind of mindset that carries people through. So, next time you hear yourself say, just think positive, pause. Ask instead, what's really going on here? Sit with the discomfort. Listen. Honor it. Then, when you're ready, turn the page. Not to escape the story, but to write a stronger one. Because real transformation doesn't come from fake smiles or forced cheer. It comes from truth, from clarity, from courage, and from the decision to keep walking even when the path is dark.